President Joe Biden just dropped a political bombshell from the Oval Office during his speech on Wednesday, and it's all about shaking up the Supreme Court. Now, in this video, we'll get into Biden's controversial plans for Supreme Court reform, his final term agenda, and what it all means for the future of America if he gets away with it. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to the channel. So today we're getting into a monumental announcement from Dementia Joe. Just the other day, he sat in the Oval Office and revealed his intentions to push for Supreme Court reform during his final term as America's destruction in chief. Yes, Biden is targeting the highest court in the land. But why now? Okay, in his speech, Biden outlined his goals for the next 6 months, which include economic development, cutting inflation, tightening gun control, and tackling the so-called climate crisis. I say so-called because there is no climate crisis. It's bullshit. But one of his key objectives, reforming the Supreme Court. That's right. Supreme Court reform is on the table, but not to worry because he probably won't even remember what he said by next Tuesday. But what does this mean for our democracy, the liberals would say? And why is Biden making this a priority now? Well, stick around because this story is packed with twists and turns that you won't want to miss. All right, so I believe that Joe, or the Democrats, is going after the Supreme Court because this court, the Roberts Court, the current Roberts Court, is more concerned with protecting and adhering to the U.S. Constitution than Democrat policies. So what's the real story behind Joe's goals? According to Biden, the Supreme Court needs to be reformed to protect our democracy. He hinted at implementing an enforceable ethics code for justices and possibly ending lifetime appointments. This isn't just talk. Biden has already set up a commission to investigate these changes. But the question is, will he succeed? All right, so here's the problem. Yes, Congress has the power to change the Supreme Court in several ways, including its size, structure, and jurisdiction. For the size, Congress has changed the number of justices on the Supreme Court multiple times, from 5 to 10. For example, the Judiciary Act of 1789 established the court with 6 justices, but Congress reduced the number to 5 in 1801. In 1869, Congress expanded the court to 9 justices, which is still the current number. Now, for the structure, Congress can also determine the time and place of the court's sessions. For jurisdiction, Congress can decide what cases the court has jurisdiction to hear. Yes, that is true. That's in Article 3, giving the Congress a power in Article 3. The Constitution gives the court original jurisdiction over certain cases. But here's the thing. I believe that the Republicans are going to take the Senate in November. And I believe that if the rhinos in the House stop acting like a bunch of pussies, we could retain the House as well. But I don't believe that the Constitution ever said that the executive branch can make changes inside the Supreme Court. I don't believe that's in there. So what the hell is Biden doing? So he wants to tell the Democrats in Congress that they have to change. But I don't understand how a president can take money that's already been appropriated for something else and spend it on a commission to make changes to the Supreme Court. If the executive branch can't make changes to the Supreme Court according to the Constitution, then what the hell is Biden doing paying for a commission to talk about making changes to the Supreme Court? You see how it works when Democrats are in charge? But I don't think the Democrats in Congress do the things that he wants to do. So White House mouthpiece Karine Jean-Pierre said, the president believes that when you hold a high office, you should be held by a certain ethics and transparency. Yeah, like, for example, when the Supreme Court tells you that you in the executive branch do not have the authority to forgive student loan debt to the point where you're going to lug that debt onto every other schmuck who pays taxes and never signed for the loan, and you give a double-barreled middle finger to the court and brag about it during speeches that you're going to do it anyway, I think that that should be maintained under a certain ethics and transparency, don't you? Yet, Karine Jean-Pierre, she offered no concrete policy announcements whatsoever. Are we about to see a major overhaul of our judicial system, or is this just political posturing? Now, we know that the lefties out there, the squad and all those jackasses, are screaming that they and MoveOn.org, those idiots, they want to take down the conservatives on the court. So they're going after Clarence Thomas because something his wife did, which was not illegal at all. His wife was actually a conservative activist. Oh, my God, right? And then you had Alito, where his wife turned a flag upside down at their summer home. Oh, my God. And then the manic depressives on the left are screaming bloody murder about gifts that Clarence Thomas has received over the years that he didn't declare. But that's because there was no rule for him to have to declare. How's that work? They're bitching that he didn't follow rules that didn't exist. Okay, so it's important to note that Biden's progressive wing has been pushing these changes for years. They've demanded term limits and even court packing to shift the balance of power. But Biden's commission remained neutral on these issues. Why bring it up now? You see, the same exact people who keep telling us that Donald Trump is going to destroy our democracy, right here is another example of them wanting to destroy our democracy, but they don't see it that way. You see, in a democracy, you have the right to vote for who you want to represent you. And the people voted for Donald Trump to represent them back in 2016. And so therefore, according to democracy, actually according to our constitutional republic, he was president and had the right to nominate people to the high court, and he did. But Joe Biden and the rest of the cronies on the left, they don't like that. They don't like when democracy goes against their way. So they want to fix the Supreme Court. Democratic political consultant Dari Allen Sergel was shocked by Biden's inclusion of Supreme Court reform in his speech. He said, in a sense, that came out of nowhere. He didn't have to put that in the speech. But the fact that he mentioned that suggested to me that in his mind, for the future of the country, this has become a high priority. So is Biden setting the stage for a dramatic showdown with conservative majorities on the court? Remember, the current 6-3 conservative majority has led to significant rulings. In 2022, the Dobbs decision overturned Roe v. Wade, and the 2023 ruling ended affirmative action in higher education. There was also another ruling where they shot down a 100-year-old anti-gun law in New York because it was unconstitutional, right? We just had the Chevron case, which is going to make major changes for the betterment of the American people with bureaucrats in the federal government. Could Biden's reforms reverse these trends? Yes, if he got away with it. These decisions have thrilled conservatives and outraged progressives, and that's why Biden wants to turn things around. So Biden also mentioned the potential for new Supreme Court appointments, stating that the next president could nominate several justices. This is a high-stakes game, folks. If Biden's reforms pass, it could reshape the court for generations. Now, I think that the Republicans are going to take the Senate. I think there's a very good chance. And you want to know something? If the rhinos stop acting like a bunch of pussies, they can retain the House as well. Now, former President Donald Trump, who appointed 3 justices, creating the current conservative majority, expressed pride in his appointments and their decisions. And he should. They're all very pro-Constitution, which at the end of the day is what every judge should be. He even hinted at the possibility of appointing more judges to the Supreme Court if he wins in 2024. So I'm simply saying the battle lines are drawn. All right, thanks for watching. Hit the notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with how the Democrats are trying to destroy democracy wherever they find it. I'll see you in the next one.
We gotta find a way to make it stay the same. Oh, with no fans of change, take it or leave it.